Hey everybody, Mr. Walls, we're here. This is your first first homeschool psychology session, and I'm going to try and give you quick lectures that are just really concise and to the point. Anyway, we're going to continue with our discussion on the development of the human being. And today I'm going to talk a bit about Maslow. I know many of you have had Maslow in maybe theology or middle school. I don't know, but he and his partner Carl Rogers are known as humanists. Humanists believe that we are all inherently pretty good. I know that's hard for some of you to believe, especially considering we've been watching people hoard toilet paper, and that makes it very difficult for me to kind of take the side of Rogers and Maslow, but, whatever. We did score, by the way, my wife scored like a 12-pack of paper towels today. Just an FYI. Hope everybody's doing pretty well with that stuff. Anyway, so if we're all inherently good, our development, unlike Freud's, is going to be not psychosexual. It's going to be based on an evolutionary ladder of things that are needs that need to be met. So, for example, his first stage is called the physiological stage. Now, I've created this handy chalkboard for you with Regis colors, and you can see, and if you want to take a screenshot, or to be honest with you, you could probably just type in Maslow's hierarchy online and they will give you a better picture than this, but I'll use this just as a reference point for the lecture. So the first set of needs in his pyramid are your physiological needs. So your physiological needs are the very basic needs. Now, it's important for you to understand that Maslow and Rogers believed that in order for you to advance along the pyramid, you had to have the needs below on the lower part of the pyramid met in order to advance. So now I will talk later about a guy by the name of Harry Harlow, who I'm not going to say negates Maslow's idea regarding the hierarchy and advancement, but he certainly gives us exceptions to it. But I'll get to that. So in your physiological needs, these are really basic needs like your food, water, and safety. These are the things that, not safety, that's your next step. Sleep is what I meant to say. So in order for you to advance on a psychological level going forward, you have to have these basic needs met, according to these guys. And as most of you know, these are the needs of life. So you can't advance as a psychological being without meeting your most basic needs. His next set of needs are your safety needs, and these are the needs that start to get a little more. I would say these needs start to get a little more family-based. So you are going to have things like your job and your house and your property, your things like communication, like your iPhones and this, that, and the other thing. These needs are still very basic needs, but they're not the same as your physiological needs like water and food. Okay? Those are needs that are life-sustaining. These are needs that are starting to get into the psychological sustaining of the person. So it's important when you're looking at these, when you're looking at Maslow, you just got to keep in mind that this is a pyramid that you are climbing. Okay, so you meet those needs that are survival needs, and then you climb to the next ladder or step in the pyramid, and then you meet those needs, which enables you to go to the next level. That's how you have to kind of look at these. And I know, I'm sorry I'm making it so quick, but I'm not going to pretend that you're going to watch a 45-minute lecture of me. So you feel free to contact me if you have any questions at my email address. Anyway, if you are able to meet these needs, and these are needs that a lot of people right now, considering this whole virus thing, these are needs that people are very worried about. So, when you do an assignment where you apply Maslow to an article, keep in mind that these safety needs are needs that I think you're reading about the most, or you're hearing about the most today. Certainly when the government talks about passing a stimulus, that is primarily to make sure that these safety needs are met. Anyway, moving on, we have our love and belonging needs. And this is your friends, your family, and the need for intimacy. Now, remember when we talked about Erickson and we talked about intimacy versus isolation, intimacy does not always mean sexual intimacy. Intimacy can also mean the intimacy of your friend base and the intimacy of our human species relating to each other. So, it's the big thing we try and talk about when we're talking about Erickson, when we were doing Erickson, was please do not always equate intimacy with sexual intimacy. So when you get to this level, this is where, with love and belonging, this is where you start to need emotional support in various areas of your life in order to develop. So we've moved past the more basic needs, and we are now into higher level needs that will enable you, if you have these needs met, to become a person who is able to get into higher level thought and ideas, things like morality as we move forward. So these are the things like the love of the family and your friends. Now, this also, with this whole pandemic, is another area where we are trying to get you to lean on this area of needs and use your family and use your friends for support in these very, these difficult times, because this is an area where it can bolster your higher level emotional stuff that's going on. Okay? So again, when you're writing an article, think about how are we using how are we as a society facing challenges in any one of these various levels of Maslow's hierarchy. Self-esteem needs are our next set of needs, okay? And this is, you start to meet these needs if you have those love and belonging needs met. So you have your confidence, your achievement, and your sense of autonomy. It's very difficult to gain, and hopefully you learned this with Erickson, it's very difficult to gain a sense of autonomy if you don't have those love and belonging needs met. So your family essentially enables you to move on to this self-esteem category. What they do to enable that is they provide support. And they give you confidence. Okay? Your parents are there from the very first, time you take a swing at a t-ball. Maybe your boyfriend or girlfriend is there when you are trying out for a particular sports team. So this is the kind of thing that builds self-esteem. Self-esteem is built on that loving and belonging. And so this is a very important part, because the top of Maslow's pyramid is is self-actualization. And, I'll do another little thing at some point about the self-actualizing person. But self-actualization is you have to have pretty much everything on the lower part of the pyramid to self-actualize. And so what Maslow is saying with this self-esteem is this is the thing that is going to launch you into the process of self-actualization. So it's very important for you to have a good, strong foundation in order to self-actualize. Okay? And that comes from self-esteem. As I said, the top is the self-actualization. And self-actualization is sort of the pinnacle. This is the point where, and it takes a very long time to get to this, this is the point where you now have empathy. You are able to understand that everybody goes through trials and tribulations. You're able to look at the world as a place that can be very difficult, but at the same time, very beautiful. These are the things that the self-actualizing person is able to kind of observe within their existence. This is Maslow's, the top of his hierarchy. So your morality you will start to see things. Remember when we talked about the superego with Freud and the development of the superego, which is your morality, and it's where you start. This is where you start to see things as just or unjust. Okay? Not because they're against the law, or you see things as just or unjust. Not everything's not black and white anymore. Once you are a self-actualizing person, you're comfortable with who you are. The self and the ego are aligned. Okay? I'll talk a little more. I'll do another little snippet at some point about the characteristics of a self-actualizing person. So anyway, there's the quick little Maslow rundown for you. And what I'll do is I'll try and post a better Maslow's hierarchy than the one I just drew up. Anyway, I miss you all. I hope your families are well, and I will keep posting, and we'll be stronger when we get back to school in April. Okay, miss you.